resonates with your heart and release anything that isn't meant for you.
Something volatile hit this spread the second I laid cards, and it demands your full attention tonight. A name is glowing inside a phone screen right now, and the cards confirm that name is yours. This person already typed a message meant only for you, and their finger hovers above the send button. The magician appears first with intense manifesting power, and it tells me a decision was already sealed. They sat down tonight with one single purpose driving them, and that purpose was reaching you before dawn. Every letter they chose was weighed like a precious stone, because this message changes everything between you. The draft in their phone carries more weight than words. It holds months of silence, finally breaking. They stared at your name in their contacts for minutes, feeling their pulse quicken just from reading it. Your name alone triggered a physical reaction in their body, and they set the phone down twice, shaking. But they picked it back up with deeper resolve each time, because the silence became unbearable for them. The Ace of Wands confirms a bold impulse igniting tonight, something raw that refuses to stay buried anymore. This person composed versions of this text for weeks privately, deleting and restarting over and over again. Tonight felt different in a way they cannot name clearly, like the air gave them permission to speak. They are not reaching out from casual boredom at all. This is a risk they are terrified taking. Their hands trembled while selecting your name from the list, and a knot formed at their throat. The Six of Wands confirms the victory they crave desperately, and that victory is hearing back from you. They do not need a long reply or romantic gesture, just confirmation that you received what they sent. That alone would sustain them for weeks without question, because your acknowledgement carries more power than you know. They edited one specific line in the message 11 times, trying to sound natural while their heart screamed. The sentence they obsessed over reveals their true feelings, but they buried it under casual phrasing instead. They fear you will read between those careful chosen lines, and equally fear that you will miss it. This person rehearsed your possible responses in their head, preparing for every version of what you might say. The worst outcome they imagined is not rejection itself. It is being left unread without a word. That silence would destroy something fragile in their chest, and they know the risk, but choose you anyway. The Tower appears and shakes the entire foundation loose, confirming this message will alter your dynamic permanently. Once you receive what they typed, nothing goes backward, and both of you will feel the shift immediately. The cards pulse with an urgency I cannot overstate tonight, and everything points to contact arriving very soon. Your name is written inside their phone at this moment, and the message attached to it is complete. The only barrier between you and their confession tonight is one single tap of a trembling, nervous finger. If you sensed a strange electricity around you this week, that is the weight of their words pressing. They scrolled past your name twice tonight before stopping, because the third time their courage finally held. The glow of the screen lit their face in the dark, and their expression shifted into something unguarded. They whispered the opening line of the message out loud, testing how vulnerable it sounded in air. That vulnerability is exactly what makes this message different. because every previous version hid behind distance. This draft is stripped bare of every defense they carry, and that is why their hands keep shaking. They know sending it means surrendering control of the outcome, and control is what kept them safe. But safety stopped feeling like protection weeks ago. It started feeling like a prison they built. The cards confirm they choose freedom over comfort tonight, and that freedom wears your name at its center. Your phone is about to carry the heaviest words they wrote, and nothing between you stays the same. This connection carries a charge that neither of you escapes, and the cards confirm it was never accidental. A deeper current just pulled me into your side of this spread, and the weight feels immense. You already know a message is coming before it arrives because your body has been reacting for days. The restlessness in your chest is not anxiety or stress, it is anticipation your mind has not named. The Queen of Swords appears reflecting your guarded intelligence, and it shows me a person who filters everything. You analyze every interaction before you allow yourself to feel, and that habit has kept you isolated lately. Your phone has become something you watch more carefully now, checking it with a frequency that surprises you. You noticed your own pattern shift, and it made you uncomfortable because you pride yourself on not caring. But something cracked that armor without your permission recently, and you have not been able to seal it. The Hanged Man confirms you are suspended between two choices, and neither one feels safe enough to commit. One path means opening yourself to a vulnerability you abandoned, and the other means pretending nothing changed. You already tried the second path, and it stopped working because your body rejected the lie completely. You caught yourself rereading old messages from this connection, searching for hidden meaning in ordinary words. A phrase they wrote months ago hit differently last week, and you sat with it longer than expected. You whispered a response to that message inside your own mind, and then felt foolish for doing it. But that silent response was more honest than anything spoken you have said about this connection out loud. Your friends do not know the depth of what you carry because you edited the story before telling. You gave them the surface version stripped of real emotion, and they believed you were handling it perfectly. The Three of Pentacles lands, showing your public composure clearly, and confirms how carefully you perform stability. Behind that composed exterior, your thoughts race every single night, circling back to the same name on repeat. You set your phone face down at dinner to prove something, but flicked it back over within minutes. That gesture exposed a truth you kept denying to yourself and proved you are waiting for what comes. The idea of receiving their message thrills and terrifies you because it removes every excuse you built. You cannot claim indifference once their words appear on screen, and that loss of control haunts you deeply. Your stomach tightens at the thought of their name appearing, and your breath catches before you can stop. You rehearsed a casual response in case they ever reached out, but your voice cracked during the practice. The cards reflect a person at the edge of surrender, knowing the fall is inevitable, yet still resisting. You keep telling yourself you are not ready for this, but your actions betray that story daily. You dressed differently this week without understanding the reason, choosing things that made you feel more visible. That impulse came from the same place pulling you closer, and the cards say you felt it clearly. You deserve to stop performing strength and simply feel wanting, because wanting is not weakness at all tonight. Your guard served its purpose for the season it was needed, but that season already ended quietly. A new softness is forming behind your ribs quietly, and it aches in a way that feels alive. You have been holding your breath for weeks without knowing, and the exhale comes whether you allow it. The version of you before this connection stirred is gone, replaced by who sits in front of me. You evolved into a person capable of receiving what approaches, and the only obstacle left is permission. Your pride keeps whispering you should not want this badly, but your chest already overruled that voice. The cards show you at an open door tonight, and the only question is whether you walk through. You can feel the moment approaching like a slow wave, and the cards say you are fully ready. Everything you once protected yourself from is now arriving, and deep down you always knew it would. The reading shifted into their private world entirely now, and what I see on this side is unfiltered. This person has been unraveling since they typed your name, and their composure is barely holding together. They sat in a dark room with only the phone glowing, drafting words that felt like open surgery. The Nine of Swords shows sleepless nights stacking heavily, and every one of them belongs to you. They have not rested properly since deciding to contact you because adrenaline replaced their sleep entirely. Their mind runs the same loop every night without stopping, replaying how you might react to their words. They picture your face reading that message the first time, and that image alone makes their hands tremble. A tightness settled behind their ribs 3 days ago permanently, and no deep breathing has dissolved it. Their coworkers noticed a shift in how they carry themselves and ask questions they completely refused to answer. They blamed it on stress and exhaustion from poor routines, but you consumed their every waking thought instead. The Seven of Cups reveals fantasies flooding their mind nightly, and each one places you at the center. They imagined dinner with you at a quiet table for two, rehearsing what to say across the candlelight. They pictured walking beside you on a street late at night, close enough that your shoulders would brush. That fantasy repeated so many times it feels like memory now, and they cannot separate wanting from recall. This person typed your name into a search bar again Tuesday, scrolling through anything connected to your life. They studied a recent photo of you with forensic attention, noticing details that most people would overlook. The angle of your job made them set the phone down shaking because beauty that specific felt confrontational. The Knight of Pentacles confirms a slow, deliberate obsession built brick by brick across weeks of quiet. They did not fall for you in one dramatic moment. It happened gradually and then completely at once. Each new detail they uncovered about you deepened the ache until it became part of their daily rhythm. Their phone battery drains faster now than it ever has because the screen stays lit on your presence. They saved one image of you inside a hidden folder privately because keeping it visible felt too exposing. That folder is the last thing they open before sleep and the first thing reached for at dawn. This person whispered a promise about you to themselves, and it sounded more like a vow than words. They swore they would find the nerve to press send finally, even if their body resisted the vulnerability. The message in their phone is not a casual text. It is a confession dressed in ordinary language. Every word selected was a battle between truth and safety, and truth won more rounds than they expected. You are not imagining the pull from their direction at all. This person projects it toward you constantly. Their energy locked onto you like a signal weeks ago, and the cards confirm you received it fully. They changed the second they typed your name into the draft, and no part of them goes back. Their breathing pattern shifts every time they reread the draft, and their chest tightens around the unsent truth. They nearly pressed send at 2 in the morning last week, but fear pulled their thumb away. The shame of that hesitation stayed with them all day, and it pushed them closer to finally acting. They have been watching your activity online with quiet obsession, noting every update and reading into silence. When you posted something recently, their heart rate visibly spiked, and they screenshot it before fully thinking. That impulsive save revealed how far gone they truly are, and they stared at the evidence feeling exposed. Their body carries the tension of a person about to leap, muscles tight and breath held in suspension. The cards show a person consumed beyond their own understanding, and the only relief available is pressing send. You are not crazy for sensing something invisible between you. The cards validate that instinct without question. A sudden momentum sees the entire spread at once, and I can feel the action phase locking in. This person crossed a threshold inside themselves tonight, silently, and there is no returning to hesitation anymore. They picked up their phone with a stillness that felt different, like a soldier deciding to finally move. The Emperor appears commanding this section with firm authority, and it shows me a person done with waiting. They deleted the draft they spent weeks carefully perfecting and rewrote the entire message in 4 raw minutes. The polished version felt dishonest at the very last moment, so they chose brutal simplicity over performance. What sits in their phone now reads like a raw pulse, and every word carries an exposed nerve. They removed the safe opening line and replaced it with truth, because pretending casual felt like betrayal. Their thumb hovers over the send icon as I speak, and the only remaining delay is one breath. The breath they hold carries the weight of months stacked high, and releasing it means releasing the message. The Two of Pentacles confirms they balance terror and desire is winning by a narrow margin. They set a deadline for themselves before midnight tonight, and the clock already passed the halfway point. If they fail to send it before the hour turns over, the courage will dissolve completely by morning. That awareness is the exact pressure forcing their hand forward, because tomorrow means another week of silence. They told one close friend they were going to reach out, and that admission created the accountability needed. A brief encouragement came back from that friend immediately, and it was enough to keep their resolve intact. They rehearsed pressing send in their mind over 40 times, visualizing the exact moment it leaves the screen. The physical act of tapping that button terrifies them fully because it converts private feeling into public truth. Once that message delivers, there is no retrieving the words, and they accepted that finality with shaking hands. The Page of Cups confirms a tender offering being prepared, something fragile wrapped in the bravest language possible. This is not a casual greeting or surface level check. It is a full confession disguised as text. The words they chose will land in your chest first, because they wrote for feeling and not logic. You will read that message more than once, guaranteed tonight, because the first pass will not fully register. The second reading is where the truth behind it strikes, and the weight of their honesty lands hard. They expect silence and have braced for the worst already, but your name was worth the risk taken. The cards confirm this message reaches you within days, clearly, and nothing between you can stop its arrival. They stopped debating whether to make the first move. The internal argument ended, and the decision sealed. Their posture shifted the moment they committed to sending it, and their jaw tightened with quiet determination. They cleared their evening schedule without giving anyone a reason, because the act of sending required solitude. The room they sit in carries a charged silence tonight, and the air feels heavier than normal. They turned off all notifications except yours alone, because only your response matters to them tonight. The moment they press send, their entire chest will release, and a tremor will pass through their body. They planned where to set the phone down after sending, because holding it while waiting would destroy them. The wait between sending and your reply will feel eternal, and they accepted that agony as the cost. But staying silent outweighed every possible rejection scenario, and that math is what finally moved their hand. This person chose you over comfort and every protective wall, and that choice cannot be undone now. The cards vibrate with a certainty I cannot overstate. Contact is not approaching, it has already begun. Your phone will carry their bravest moment very soon, and everything between you shifts when it arrives. Movement has already begun, and the momentum is irreversible. Every card in this section confirms forward motion. The cards dropped into a layer I was not prepared for, and these are confessions never voiced. What lives beneath the message they typed is far heavier, and the cards drag it into light. This person holds a secret about you that predates the text, rotting quietly inside them. The devil appears, exposing an obsession they refuse to name, controlling them more than they admit. They do not want casual attention or a simple reply back. They want permanent access to you. Their fixation would shock you if spoken in plain language, because it crosses boundaries they once respected. They dreamt about you 4 consecutive nights without waking, and each dream grew more vivid than before. In one dream, they held your face with both trembling hands and woke with their palms still warm. They refused to move after waking from that vivid dream because shifting meant losing the feeling sooner. The confession buried deepest is that they compare every person and nobody survives against your presence. They tried dating another person to prove they moved on, but the whole night they wished for you. The other person talked, and all they registered was static, because your voice loops endlessly inside their mind. They apologized for being distant at the end of that night, but never explained why it happened. The Five of Cups confirms grief about all the wasted time, and each spilled cup represents hesitation. They mourn the weeks they could have spent learning you, memorizing how you move through a room. That grief sharpened into anger, aimed directly at themselves, because cowardice stole what could have been. They struck a wall 3 days ago from pure frustration, and the bruise on their hand reminds them. That mark became a physical symbol of their own silence, and they press it when needing to feel. This person confessed to their reflection last Sunday night, standing in a locked bathroom completely alone. They said your name, followed by 3 words that shook them, and their voice cracked before the third. The mirror witnessed what nobody else has been allowed near, and that confession still lingers in the air. They are terrified that wanting you this badly means weakness, raised to swallow everything that burns. But you dismantled that programming without lifting a finger, and their defenses malfunction around your memory. The King of Wands confirms a passion buried under discipline, and the burial was never deep enough. It claws back to the surface with every breath taken, demanding to be voiced to who matters. Their hidden truth is that the message in their phone holds only a fraction of what they feel. The full confession would take hours to deliver without pause, and you could not absorb it all. So they condensed a wildfire into one careful paragraph and prayed you could feel the heat behind it. They confess they are not afraid of rejection at all. They are afraid you will see them fully. Being seen by you means standing without any performance worn, and that exposure threatens everything they built. The final confession at the bottom of these cards tonight is that they belong to you without condition. No contract was signed and no promise exchanged between you, but loyalty shifted toward you months ago. They would deny every word if confronted to their face, but the cards refuse to allow denial. They have practiced indifference around you so many times that the performance itself became a second prison. But behind that mask, their jaw clenches every time you speak, and their pulse doubles without anyone noticing. The most dangerous confession they carry is how permanent this feels, because temporary wanting would have faded. This is not a phase or a mood that passes. It is a restructuring of everything they are. They know what song they would play on a first drive and which seat they would give you. The specificity of their fantasies reveals deep attachment, and none of it is casual or surface. These confessions will bleed through the message when it lands, and you will feel what was left unsaid. The final stretch of this reading opened with force, and I can see exactly what comes next. Everything that built pressure behind the scenes until tonight is about to spill into your waking life. The Wheel of Fortune confirms a destined turning point now, and it arrives within the next 2 weeks. That message in their phone will reach your screen very soon, and the timing will feel strangely precise. It will not arrive when you are busy or distracted. It will land during a quiet, vulnerable moment. You will be alone when you first read their words, and your chest will tighten before you finish. The words they chose sit differently than any text before because the weight behind them is unmistakable. The Ten of Cups confirms emotional fulfillment approaching fast, and it begins the moment you choose to respond. Your reply does not need to match their intensity or depth, just honesty delivered without any guard. A single honest sentence from you cracks everything open because they are already standing at the edge. The Four of Wands signals a foundation being laid between you, something stable enough to hold real weight. Now, let me offer the guidance these cards are demanding, because the next phase needs your full awareness. Do not overthink your response when the message finally arrives. Your first instinct will be the truest one. Resist the urge to wait days before replying to them, because delay will be misread as cold rejection. They brace for silence as the most likely outcome now, so speed in your reply disarms them. Let them feel warmth in your response without any performance, because authenticity is what they starve for most. Do not downplay what you feel to keep yourself safe. This is when protection works against you. The cards want you to meet their vulnerability with yours, because matched honesty builds this connection forward. Now, let me gather the full message this reading carried, because the core needs to be spoken. Your name is written in their phone, and the message waits. They prepared to send it tonight. That text holds months of compressed silence and confession, aimed directly at your chest with full intention. They confessed in mirrors and journals and sleepless rooms while you sensed their energy reaching for you. The magician opened with manifesting power, and the Ace of Wands ignited their impulse to reach you boldly. Six of Wands craved your reply, and the Tower confirmed permanent change, while Queen of Swords mirrored you. The Hanged Man suspended your choice, and Three of Pentacles exposed the composure you perform for others daily. Nine of Swords stacked sleepless nights, and Seven of Cups flooded their mind with vivid fantasies of you. Knight of Pentacles built obsession slowly, and the Emperor sealed their decision to pursue you with full authority. Two of Pentacles balanced terror and desire evenly between them, while Page of Cups prepared a fragile offering. The Devil exposed obsession they refused to name aloud. Five of Cups mourned all their wasted time. King of Wands confirmed buried passion, and now the wheel turns, destiny directly into your path with precision. Ten of Cups promises fulfillment upon your honest response, and Four of Wands lays the foundation for everything. This reading was not casual or ordinary in any form. It carried a frequency that rarely passes through. What you felt while absorbing these words was not imagination. It was confirmation settling directly into your bones. You are wanted with a ferocity most people never know, and these cards left no room for doubt. Thank you for sitting with me through something this raw. I hope every word landed exactly where needed. The connection between you both is sealed in forward motion, and the cards say nothing reverses it. Your life is about to receive words this person spent months preparing, and you deserve every syllable. Trust what your body told you throughout this entire reading, because it never lied about them. If this resonated, leave a comment sharing what struck deepest, because your honesty helps others find their courage. Everything that built pressure behind the scenes until tonight is about to spill into your waking life. The Wheel of Fortune confirms a destined turning point now, and it arrives within the next 2 weeks. That message in their phone will reach your screen very soon, and the timing will feel strangely precise. It will not arrive when you are busy or distracted. It will land during a quiet, vulnerable moment. You will be alone when you first read their words, and your chest will